what's up? Zero back again with some domination gameplay on Discovery. Ended up getting a lot of good gameplay yesterday, so I'm pretty happy about that. I ended up being in parties almost the whole time I was playing, and it was a whole new experience. I had people that could watch my back and give me some call-outs, and ended up being able to play a lot more aggressively just because of that. As you see, I'm up here close to the flag right at the beginning instead of cautiously making my way up. And it's a whole new game when you have a team full of people that know how to play and work as a team instead of going every man for themselves. It makes the game a whole lot more enjoyable and a whole lot easier. If you're having trouble finding teams, I recommend going to huppetgaming.com. They have forums there you can get on, talk about games. They also have a player finder feature, so you can find players that are in the same region, playing the same games, on at the same times, play the same way as you. Makes things a lot easier. That's where I met the first group of guys that I was playing with yesterday, and it ended up being a good experience, even though we were playing across continents with me in the United States and them in the UK. We ended up playing on some French hosts and everything else, but it ended up being a really good day, even with the connections. Just the communication and the whole teamwork aspect made the game easier and a whole lot more tolerable. Even if you were having trouble, it was still a little bit more entertaining, just having people having your back and having people to talk to. And it really changes the whole dynamic of the game once you get people in and communicating, instead of having to worry about constantly getting shot in the back and not knowing anything about where the enemy team is. At least you have some clue when you have teammates communicating. That just makes it a whole different game as opposed to going in and playing by yourself, just hoping you can rely on some randoms, which never seems to work out. If you've watched any of my commentaries, you know I'm always complaining about my horrible random teammates. And even though a couple times we didn't have a full team and we had some random teammates that kind of cost us the game by doing things pretty stupid, it was still a lot closer and a lot more fun just because it ended up being a good fight instead of just getting blown out of the water by the other team. So if you're getting tired of the game and just tired of everything that goes along with it, I strongly recommend going and trying to pick up a full party one of these days, and if you don't already do that, because it just makes a whole new game a whole lot more fun. Now that I've actually started playing with parties, I think I might even switch my playstyle a little bit. If you've watched many of my commentaries, you know I have a pretty defensive playstyle. I normally just try to hang back somewhere in between two flags that we have and try to pick people off as they come to either flag. And that's okay. I mean, it's a good strategy, but it's just not all that exciting. I'd rather... that guy totally failed on his knife. I thought I was a little bit further underneath this barrier and they couldn't see me, but it turns out I was standing in plain sight. But as I was saying, it's more exciting when you can move around a little bit and not have to worry about getting shot in the back. So now that I have parties that I play with more often, I think I might be posting more games where I'm moving around the map a lot more. And if you look at my loadout and my whole perk setup and everything, you'll see that it's kind of based around doing that. I'm using a whole teamwork kind of base setup and also a stealth based setup. Whereas I'm using Ghost with the Silence FAMAS, so I can pretty much run around the map freely without them knowing where I'm at unless they get a Blackbird up. And then for my kill streaks, I'm using UAV, counter UAV, and napalm. And sometimes if we're going for spawn trapping on demo, sometimes I'll switch the napalm out for Blackbird, just so we pretty much always have eyes on them and know exactly where they're at, and try to keep them as in the dark as our positions and my position as possible. And it works out really good for flanking around the sides of the map and getting in behind them and shooting them in the back when they're totally oblivious to my location. And in my opinion, that's how Ghost is supposed to be used. I think a lot of people's problem with Ghost is because people are using it just sitting in a corner somewhere with the Silence 74U, not moving, just, you know, corner camping the whole map, playing like a complete bitch. Whereas, you know, if you're using it to move around the map and, you know, using it for a whole tactical reason, then I don't see anything wrong with it. But yeah, even I get pissed off at the people just corner camping with Ghost. And if you look at my kill streaks, you'll mainly notice that it's teamwork-based kill streaks. That's kind of the way I like to keep it. I mean, I could switch it out for, you know, chopper gunners and attack helicopters and things like that to get bigger scores, but for the most part, I don't really like doing that. I like map control-based kill streaks. I like knowing where they're at with the UAV. I like blinding them with a counter UAV, and I like cutting them off from other areas, or keeping them trapped in their spawn with a big line of napalm. Unless they have Flak Jacket Pro, which a lot of people don't really have that, so it works out pretty well. And then sometimes I'll switch the napalm out for a Blackbird as well, just to have even more map control. But one of these days, maybe I'll switch out for chopper gunners or attack helicopter or dogs or something and go for a big score game. But I don't really find big score games when somebody has the chopper gunners and things like that all that impressive. I'd much prefer to watch them with low kill streaks, running around with their gun, just controlling the map that way, and playing as a team rather than trying to be a hero and take everything. Got teleport knife there horribly. I didn't know he was coming. I was going to throw a grenade at the guy that was hiding in that building. But that's where I think a lot of people go wrong in their playing. They set their kill streaks really high and they end up not getting to them most of the time, and it doesn't really do anything to benefit their team or to benefit themselves at all. Whereas if you set your kill streaks low to somewhere where it's easy to achieve, then you're always going to be benefiting at least yourself and normally your team with your kill streaks, because you're going to be getting them instead of just hoping you get something big and maybe once every 3 or 4 games getting a really good score with it. You can set it to 3, 4, 5 and keep map control instead of hoping just to be able to dominate them from the air with a chopper gunner or something. Don't get me wrong, there's some people out there that can consistently get chopper gunners and consistently get dogs and things like that, but that's not most people, and I think most people are trying to take that same play style, but really it's not benefiting anybody if you're not getting your kill streaks. It's better to just have low kill streaks that you're guaranteed to get rather than high kill streaks that you're it's just taking a gamble on. You can see that pro move right there where I'm trying to flash the guy and I end up just clipping the corner. But that's where I think the whole YouTube community thing and the whole gameplay commentary is kind of making a downside in the gaming community as a whole, because a lot of people are seeing these games with the chopper gunners and the dogs and everything else and thinking, oh man, I gotta do that. I gotta put those kill streaks on if I want to be good. You see all these games that people post, and pretty much every game they post they have chopper gunners and dogs, but it's kind of an illusion in a way, because you start thinking, oh, these guys get that every single game, whereas if you look at a lot of them, they probably aren't getting them every single game. They're probably just posting their best of their best games, and a lot of games they might not even get anywhere close to that. A lot of games they might even just rage quit because they're on a bad team and they're just getting beat all to shit by the other team. But you're never going to see that in the videos that they post. So everybody's running around trying to be as good as them, using the huge kill streaks and basically just running everything for the rest of their team because they're not contributing anything. And I'm kind of trying to get away with that, or get away from that, I should say, on my channel. You'll see me post games that, I don't win. You'll see me post games where I don't have the greatest score, but, I fought really hard and it was a close game. And that's more my criteria for posting. I don't want to have just these beast scores where everything worked out in my favor. I'd rather post something that I worked hard for. I'd rather post something that I was excited to play and I was just going, oh wow, I can't believe I pulled that off. And if you keep watching my channel, hopefully that's what you'll see.